So guys, when we were mapping out the presentation tonight, so I would say that everybody that's going to be here is here already. Thank you for inviting others. If you would keep inviting others, because now we're going to go, okay? Enough opening, and we're going to follow the slides, and we're just going to go for it, right? I want you to notice that most people you know, your cousin, your best friend, your partner, people match their income to their expenses, all right? So let's go. It takes you 6 minutes to adjust a pay rise. If today your boss told you got a pay rise, chances are you would call your spouse and say, honey, let's buy the new car, let's go on a holiday. People do this all the time. They match their income to their expenses, almost like a subroutine in a computer. They're running. This is going to become crucial in a moment when Diogo and I start showing you, okay, some of the numbers. This has produced an exact result. What happens is the majority of people that show up in our lives, they are 46 years of age. I want you to start noticing the patterns. People match their income to their expenses since their 20s. In their 30s, they keep doing it. Around the 46, a few things actually took shape. So people started to match their income to their expenses. Then they go, and if you make people that look like you, the moment you have a child, you go, oh, I'm an adult now. I got to become responsible. And then you mix two words, the word investment with the word education. They do not have the same meaning. Education has one meaning, investment has a different meaning. This is homework for you tonight. I would love for you tonight, go on your phone and see the definition of the word, right? Education and the word investment. They're very different. Nonetheless, when we sit and we run hundreds of people, thousands of people through the software that we run to empower our clients, second to none, we see a pattern. The pattern is on your 46th birthday, for the majority of people we meet, you will have a sense of which an internal dialogue that goes something like this. I should be way ahead than where I am right now. I should be already ahead. But the truth is, you don't know what to do. Majority of people don't. Majority of people do not. So what happened was you found someone you really liked. You match your income and you lived in a bigger house and the moment you had children, your mind was, oh, I got to now invest on the roof over my head and invest on my kids' education. The truth is, living and education, they're not investment. Investment is something else, and that's the point of being here tonight. Investment is when your money works for you. So what Diogo and I see, you see the majority of people that are 46 years of age, they have a house worth 900, and the houses are moving. The houses are moving. They may be worth $1 million now, 1.1 million now, but this is the average Aussie now, right now, tonight, if we're to take from Darwin to Hobart, from Brisbane to Perth, take it across the country. The average person in Australia right now owns a house with $900,000. They have $590,000 of debt. What's going on? If somebody, and this is the conversation about becoming wise financially. Why do you have a mortgage at the age of 46? Why is that? The truth is, no one will say the words, I have a mortgage at 46 because I'm hypnotized to do so. Another way to say it is because I have social agreement that that's what I should do, be in debt my whole life. Another conversation people have is, well, what are you talking about, man? That's what my neighbor did. That's what my mother did. That's what my maths teacher did. That's what everybody does. Well, what else could I do? Tonight, you're going to learn a few things, and we're going to go to town on it. So the truth is, at 46, when you realize that you still have a huge mortgage, and you have less than $180,000 in super, at 46 years of age, your youngest child is coming along, and you start to happen inside of you a gut feeling, an inquiry as how am I going to land this, right? So
this is it.
Yeah.
So that's where the confusion gets. And don't get us wrong, this is the average age, because we have people coming to us at their 60 and there's plans for it. And there's ways that we can approach it. And there's people at 30s, in their 30s, and it's fine. The moment that you realize you need to switch the mindset and make it happen We will be here for you, and we'll make the strategies according to your situation.
There you go.
That's the majority of. So there's no one size fits all, and this is what our purpose is, to build with you the strategies that align with your goals.
We had a client recently come in, 22 years of age, tapping into the bank of mom and dad, or actually tapping into equity of their parents. So we design strategies across generations as well.
Yeah.
You had another 23-year-old that has been saving since 18,
Yeah.
starting to invest as well. So guys, people are generally confused between lifestyle and wealth. So what happens is you get a pay rise, you improve your lifestyle. Wealth and lifestyle are very separate. You may be in different steps in the ladder: survival, surplus, financial freedom, and financial abundance.
Mm-hmm.
What we want you to notice tonight is this: everything being equal, if you are matching your income to your expenses, and all your highest priorities, put a roof over your family's head and educate your children, inside of that combination, inside of the hypnosis, wealth for the majority of people you know in the Western world is to own the biggest possible house, given the very income. Tonight, we are really going to dismantle that. This picture is here for a purpose. See the size of the door. See how big the door is.
They don't make like these anymore.
You know, right? Look how happy they are. The truth for us is the majority of people that come into the software, start plugging in the numbers, what actually happens for them is the biggest asset they have, asset, quote unquote, is their own home. When your Auntie Geraldine told you that she sold the house because it was too big for her to clean, maybe there was a different reason. She couldn't eat the wall. The truth is, the majority of Australians, what will happen is they work their entire lives to own their own home, and then they're going to live off the super. The super may not be enough. They got to sell a house, right, in order to actually cash up. So all I want to say to you is tonight we're going to go there. Is your numbers have no feelings? You do. So tonight we're going to cover a multitude of topics, and we're going to consolidate them and bring them home, right? That's the idea, right?
So let's go for the big question.
Yeah.
How much tax did you pay last year? So probably we have a guess, an estimate, that probably 4.3 months of your life, it's actually towards the government. And that's part of the country where we are, because we have lovely parks, lovely roads, all of that. But someone needs to pay for that. It's all of us. We are paying for that. So this is where, obviously, there's a right from the government to take money from us. But also, there's a right from us to minimize that.
Yeah.
So that's the perception that we need to realize. It's not what the rules are for majority of people, for those who are not educated, because back in school, nobody tells you, look, we're actually charging you nearly 50% of tax, but you can do it otherwise.
Yeah.
The government will never tell you this. It will never tell you this.
I want to go back here, and I just want to say this to you guys. Look at this. Diogo is absolutely right. If you are unprepared, right, under the hypnosis, you will work 4.3 months. If we're to take time and money and put in the equation equal time, the amount of money you pay equals 4.3 months of the year in time you're working to pay taxes. When we talk about tax minimization is your right, we are not against tax. We're not against, we understand the government has to collect taxes to do the parks,
exactly,
the schools, roads, we get that. But we want to say this to you now, and I want you to consider this for a second. A wealthy nation needs wealthy individuals. We want to amplify your thought processes, right? Here we go. When you do tax minimization planning, not tax avoidance, when you plan to pay less tax and you do it within the law, within the rules, you're actually helping the economy. Let us explore this together. So the government comes along and says, we will give these tax dispensations towards this or that. I'll give you a perfect example. We know that the Australian government will give you some huge tax dispensations if you invest in movies, in Australian-made movies. Why? Because they want to flourish that industry. We're not saying that movies are a good investment, but we're saying there's some tax deductions there. Why? Because, man, they want more and more. That it makes total sense. Something else. In the new budget, they went along and says, well, we're going to change negative gearing, we're going to change this, da, da. Oh, nothing happens to brand new houses. Why is that? Because they want money to go there. And this is going to start to make more sense in a moment. The reason why they're never going to take negative gearing away from new homes, right, is because we are living in an island where we have more people than houses. So the moment in which you think, I'm going to invest in a property, got it. The government is going to give you some tax back. And we're going to go into that deeper a little bit tonight, okay? But I want you to think for a second. Let's just say that the government gives you $17,000, $20,000 back because you bought a property investment, right? Now, take the helicopter view and see what Diogo and I are looking at. The moment in which you're going to buy a brand new house, a plumber goes to work, a carpenter goes to work, a bricklayer goes to work, the guy who sold the paint, the salesperson who sold the paint for that house to be painted, the architect who designed it, all of these individuals will pay tax in their income. So the government's going to give you a little bit of money back, but I want you to have an ideation, imagine in your mind how much stimulus there is because that house got built. Not only that, what happens though is, for every house that an investor builds is one less house the government has to build, right? So if we're truly a communist country or socialist country, the government built all the houses. So this is what the beauty of the free economy. Now, only a few people will have houses as investments. Those that have made a decision of going beyond matching their income to their expenses and start with the word investing. So what Diogo and I are going to show you now is this. This is worth a picture. If you can take a screenshot of this or a photo with your mobile, this is what Diogo teaches. This is what the team here at JDL teaches all the time, right? Do you want to
for sure
talk about the arrows?
It's pretty clear here. So the more assets you have, there's actually a song that Julie used to sing.
Talking about your grandparents too, right?
For sure. So the more assets you accumulate, and we know that assets and the economy is made, the way structured, the capitalism we live in for 100 years, what has been doing, we actually had to view the graphs the other day. Back in the 19th century, there was a crisis of housing and stuff like that, and there was corrections. And since then, we've been matching, and for the 100 years, you always have corrections. You always have periods when it goes down. But after every correction, where does the market go? It goes up because it's part of the inflation.
No, let's talk about this. Let's go a little deeper. You're absolutely right. Let's explore this point. This is nothing like, let's explore this point right now. Have you seen on the news recently, this is brilliant. Mm-hmm. Have you seen on the news recently how they're saying, is the biggest decline in property in Australia for the last 4 years, the biggest decline for the last 4 years. Hold on, the last 5 years. It's clickbait, it's about selling bad news, all right? But get this, if you had a property that 5 years ago, yes, it was 700,000. Yep. Tonight, or 2 months ago, was $1 million. And now it's dropping from $1 million to 950. And then he was going, oh my God, it's dropped, it's going down, it's going to burn. And everybody's like, oh yeah, I can get into the market. But if it went from 750 to $1 million, and now comes down to 50,000, see the journey between 700 and 950, or 750 to 950? And then when it recovers, so yes, it had a dip, which is happening now.
It's happening.
Right? And then that dip goes from 950, hear me out, to 2 million. What? See, he jokes with me all the time because when I started doing this, was a long time ago. I want you to understand that when I started telling people in Australia that the average house was 350, it was going to be 350,000, people just like push back. And then when properties got to 350, I said to people, it's going to be $1 million. Look at us tonight. It's going to be 4 million. It is just a matter of time, this whole thing called inflation.
So once we understand that,
Yeah.
we have the assets accumulation. So
Let us put the song together, shall we?
yeah,
Can you put the slide back up, Jose, please? Here we go. Hey guys, this is the core of tonight. The reason why I said take a photo of this is this. How do you get rich? Or you are accumulating capital, you are not. Or you are accumulating capital, or you are not. So if you meet a person who are 30 years of age and you say, how much capital have you got? It's a very straightforward question, right? Not a lot because I'm in my 30s. What about when you're 40? Oh, so the accumulation of capital equals wealth. So if you met somebody who says, I got a house, I got a couple of houses, I got shares, I got gold, silver, that's the asset going up. Now the other two arrows are are important as the first one. So tax minimization is your right as a citizen, and we're gonna loop that back in, but getting rid of debt is key. So the way we have built the conversation tonight is this. You have come tonight, we have an agreement, you come because you wanna get ahead. So we're actually gonna put those three things together. Go up in assets, minimize your tax, and minimize your debt. Now, we made a decision to arrange the slides in a way that we're going to talk about something really dark right now. This next 10 minutes, next 10, 15 minutes is going to be very dark. But I want you to truly put both feet on the ground and let's really have a look at everybody's addiction to debt for a second, right? We're going to go places now and we're going to bring some understanding for you. And we made you some promises tonight. We want you to walk away from here with a sense of wow. So may I just fly this thing? Is that okay with you?
Before we go to that, I just want to add one concept,
Yes.
which is green debt and red debt.
Yes.
Because we're going to approach now what personal debt is going to do to you, and that's a spoiler already, that what's going into the journey. But so you visualize, there's good debt called the green debt when we show the graphs, and there's the red debt, which is your personal debt is not tax deductible. So once you understand that there's two different kinds of debt.
I love the frame. I love the frame.
Right?
Yeah,
so when we jump now into this, that we're going, it's dark. It's because we're going to dive deep into the red.
Man, look, let me take it a different way. Green and red. Red is you pay for it alone. Green, other people pay for it. It's a beautiful frame. So guys, and that's another thing as well. Sometimes when people think about investing in property, they're already so traumatized by the red debt, by the debt that they pay for it alone, and they don't understand the idea. Oh man, let's go there. Let's go. Guys, let's just cover this now. Let's talk about personal debt. We're gonna cut to the chase. Can you please, if you have some questions, just type the questions in there. And what we're gonna say now is no mercy. No mercy. We're gonna go and look at the numbers for what the numbers are. So I want you to imagine a client came to see Diogo. His name is Matthew. Matthew is on $190,000 a year, okay? He's married to Anna, and he tells us that he's on $190,000. Anna is on $80,000. They have two lovely kids, cool? And he has a mortgage for $700,000. So when he showed up here, he believes that everything in his life is beautiful and normal. But we at JDL Strategies, JDL stands for Just Do Life. We start to see the hypnosis, right? The guy is 42 years of age on a $700,000 mortgage. Okay. Now, we already know now that his monthly repayment is $4,287. Why? Because he can't afford it. That's simple. Why? Because if he couldn't afford it, it wouldn't be that. It is that because he can afford it, right? Now, look, man, I don't want the comments about, oh, people are going to struggle financially. It's just Matthew came, he has this mortgage because he can. Let's move on. Insight, the deepest insight I want you to have right now is this. For every dollar he makes, he keeps 61 cents after all the tax. Remember the full 4.3 months a year he pays for, he works for? So he makes a buck, he doesn't keep the whole buck. He takes home around 61 cents. Let's just keep moving, all right? Now, in order for us to have this in a way that this really makes sense, I'm gonna ask you now, Jose, to leave the slides. Let me write the slides. Don't let me write the slides now. where everybody can see the slides and the numbers in full right now. So what is going to happen right now is this. I want you to imagine, just so everybody's in the same page, that you paid your house off. Your house was paid for. And you went to the backyard, you looked at it, and you said, you know what, I'm going to build a pool here for next summer. So you called the pool guy and you said, hey, how much for a pool to go here? And they said $100,000. Now, this is very easy for us to understand. All Diogo and I are doing right now is teaching you the nature of debt itself. So I want you to imagine right now that you're at zero debt position, or you just went out to borrow 100 grand. So this is how the majority of people you know engage with the numbers and the idea of borrowing money. So you went back to a broker and you said, hey man, I wanna build a pool, and the builder told me it's gonna be $100,000. Okay. And the broker told me 25 years, 6%, $772 per month. If you're in a relationship, right, your spouse, or you notice how people don't even pull a calculator out or a spreadsheet. It's a gut feeling. And people look at each other and they go, good, 700, yeah, we're good. And the moment you make the decision, most people make the decision on the monthly repayment, and they were done. They're done. Yeah. They don't understand the hypnosis. We're going to go there today. I want you to be clear that if you borrowed 100 grand under those terms, 25 years, $772 per month, you will pay back $231,000. What? Yeah. So I want to take you through this conversation now. So you see this is the curve now of the value of the loan. Notice how in the beginning you owe 100,000 and then the debt's coming down. Can you notice in the first 10 years, the debt's not coming down much at all? I would love to see some comments here now. Why isn't the debt coming down in the first 10 years? This is extremely important. We're going to pop some real deep understanding for you tonight. We made some promises and we're going to bring it. Interest. Yes, interest. Somebody's paying the interest first. Very good. So let's have a look at the numbers. We put a slide up that says your numbers have no feelings, you do. So if you paid back 9 grand, you're good for 1,000. 9,200, you're good for 1,300. 5 years later, you paid back $46,000, right? But you're good for 7,700. 10 years later, you paid back 92,000 and you're good for 19. If you literally walk into the bank and said on year 10, this is very important for a moment to come. You walk into the bank and you already gave the bank $92,000 and you said, hey, I wanna quit. I wanna pay my mortgage in full today. How much am I good for? You drove your debt down by 19,000. Somebody here said, you're paying your interest first. Very good insight. The truth is, by the time you pay the whole shebang, you paid back $231,000 for your 100 grand. See, when the bank lends you money, here's hypnotic words. No bank on earth lends money. That's hypnosis 101. Banks sell money. So when you go to the bank, next time, if you, rather than say, hey, I want to borrow the money, how much is the interest rates? You could say, I want to buy some money. What's the price? So when the bank lends you the money, guess who the risk is? It's you.
You paid 100 grand for the pool and another 130 grand for the bank.
For the right to borrow the money.
To borrow the money.
Okay, exactly.
So if you think about it, if you frame it that way, you'll think about it in a different way.
Yeah.
Once you make it.
So what happens then is you're paying all this money down, but you're paying the interest component first. If you went to see the bank manager and you said, hey man, what is going on here? The bank manager will say, look, you are the risk, so we charge the interest first. So when you pay us the repayments in the beginning, the bulk of the repayments is going to the interest component. The first time you hear the word component with the word interest put together, you're paying the bulk of the interest component. You're paying the interest piece, not a lot of the principal. So let's do the numbers again. So you got $1, yeah? You don't take the whole dollar home, right? You took between 61 cents, 70 cents. So let's just say you took 70 cents home of your $1. 30 cents goes to the government. So you're left with 70 cents now. That's the money you got in your pocket. When you put that 70 cents into the bank and the bank is asking you for the interest component first, 61 cents of that 70 cents is going into the interest component and 9 cents into the principal. That's why the curve takes so long. Around year 10, 11, the bulk of the principal, a bulk of the interest being paid, and then most of the money starts to go towards interest. That's very important. Why? Let's do some other numbers. When do you pay for your mortgage? Some of you say the first of the month, once a fortnight. I don't remember. It's automatic. I want you to take this home and write this down. You pay for your mortgage after tax. If that becomes clear, so in other words, I already described it to you. You don't get the whole dollar. You get 70 cents. But what does that mean in real numbers? Let's have a look. Because you borrowed 100 grand, you will pay back the bank 231. Everybody clear on that? Got it. Well, to have $231,000 in your pocket, you must earn $356,000, pay $124,000 in tax to have the 231. Is this making sense? You pay for your mortgage with after tax. When the whole game about property investment comes and you understand that's not the same system, tonight you're going to have a lot of aha moments. Let's keep going here. So if you showed up here with a mortgage for $100,000, we already know you're going to have to earn around 300, 350 to pay that 100 grand. So when this client shows up and he says to us, I have a mortgage of $700,000, be my guest. Diogo, Mavio, Uzair, Brad, Kylie, anyone in our team, Tatiani, anyone in our team, they already know if you showed up here with a $700,000 mortgage, we already know you're going to have to earn around 2.1 million. And notice here how much tax. If he borrowed 100 grand, he's paying back $124,000 in tax. So for every house you bought for yourself, you bought one for the government. So
one for the government, one for the bank.
Exactly. Exactly right. The piece though is this. What if there is a different game? But Julio, that's the right thing to do, isn't it? Well, we're going to explore some of that too. So guys, what I want to say to you tonight is this. Your personal debt has got to go. And one of the fastest way and the cheapest way to understand this maths here is this. Never do what the bank tells you to do. Never do what the finance institution tells you to do. Never. Most financial institutions, they will give you an amount per month, per week, per fortnight to pay, and that's what the majority of people do.
That's how they make the money.
Exactly.
That's their business. You're a client in order to make money for them.
Yeah.
So they don't see you. They don't protect you. It's not like they are giving you money for the sake of improving your life. They are simply using you as a tool for them to become profitable.
The point really is this. If you follow the system, you'll be paying a lot of the interest component first. Now, when Julio says, don't do what the bank says, if the bank tells you to pay 700, pay 800. If the bank tells you to pay 238, pay 400. Always pay more, because that more goes into the principal. And your interest is calculated on the principal, the amount you borrowed. So when I say never do what the bank tells you to do, always try to pay more.
If they push you to pay monthly, you pay weekly.
Exactly.
The interest is calculated daily. So every repayment you have, the quicker you have it along many years, the sooner you start paying those, the less you'll have in repayment. So
absolutely.
There's a few tricks that once you become our client and once you join JDL, once you become part of the family, Those are some of the things that we would love to review, ensure that when we come through JDL Finance, because we obviously have all of these departments for a reason.
Yeah.
It's to help you out, having the tools, because we have the finance team just working on those things, ensuring that you have the right structures together with the accountant, as well as we have the property team activating any execution and understanding that we have the right assets under your name. So this is important to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, the piece here is like this. What will the average person that you know do after living in a house for 10 years? You tell me. I would love to see this. Let me ask the question now. Again, what does the average person you know will do after living in the same house for 10 years? So you bought a house.
Their own house.
Their own home. You bought your own home. You're paying for it. What will the average person do? I'll tell you what. After 10 years, that software kicks in.
They'll renovate.
They'll renovate. What else? They'll upgrade. Renovate and upgrade. Renovate and upgrade. What happens is, honey, you make a lot more money. That's right. So do you. Remember, we must match our income to our expenses. What happens if we sell this house and buy a bigger one? Why? Because we can afford it. What? The monthly repayment. So we see this all the time where people come into their 40s, late 40s, and they are making good money now, right, in comparison to themselves in their 30s. So what they do is they sell the house around year 10. When you sell a house and you start a new one, buy a new one, start a new mortgage with a new one.
Everything from scratch.
Everything from scratch. So all that interest that you paid, right, you start to pay the principal, the new house is often a lot more value, a lot more debt, and you hope for the best that before you retire, you pay it off. And that's why the majority of Australians, you know, their permission for wealth is to own a house at the end of it all. Mm. Now, tonight, we're going to go somewhere else. Tonight, we're going to have a different conversation. May we ask, is this been of value so far? Has this been a good conversation? Can we see some reaction from you guys? Is this been a good conversation?
Just comment value. If you're finding some value, just comment value. We'd love to hear if it's making sense, and we'd love to keep going.
Yeah. We must not live, thank you, we must not live in la 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 land. I understand when we ask about that, people go, and they go into a choke, they go into this. Now we're gonna go somewhere else, okay? I want you to look at this pie chart. Be clear that when you buy your own home, you pay for it alone and after tax. Got it. Red debt, we're talking about red debt. Now we're gonna go into a world of green debt. Mm-hmm. Now, there is before we came tonight in terms of showing you, this is why we said invite your accountant, invite your mother-in-law, because now we're going to go somewhere. I want to take the submarine even deeper. When you buy a property investment, you have two partners. The tenant's going to pay for 50% of the bills. The government may pay for 30, 40% of the bills. You pay between 15 and 0. But the whole asset is yours. When you buy your house, you're alone. When you buy an investment property, you have two partners, the tenant and the ATO, okay? Now we want to tell you a story. We want to tell a story to make a significant and profound change in your life. Tonight, before you go home, we're going to give you some numbers that you will be able to decide the rest of your life in ways that, let's just go. Let's go. I noticed, brother, look at this. We need to go faster because we are hanging out here with people. Yeah. How many people have we got on the presentation now? 44 people. 50 people. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here. I want to hear from you. What we're gonna go now is a synthesis of real deep stuff, but really fast. Okay?
Real case scenario, like side by side.
Let's go. So I want you to understand, I've been presenting this for a long time. I understand, Diogo understands how banks make money and people make the decisions on the monthly repayments. They have zero strategy. For a long time, over decades, we've been teaching people debt reduction, red debt, green debt, debt that you pay for, debt other people pay for. So I gave this explanation in Perth a long time ago, a long, long time ago. This young guy comes up to me, and I just finished the presentation, and he comes up to me and he verbatim, this is what he says. He says, So I knew that a lot of concepts just hit him. A lot of concepts just hit him. And I said, what's happening for you? He said, man, I understand fully what you explained. I just bought a house, man. Yeah, I just bought a house. It's selling 2 days from now. We're already buying the furniture. We're gonna move in. And then he asked me this question: Is this a good thing to do? Ladies and gentlemen, please understand that there is deep agreement you should buy a house for yourself. This whole political landscape about young people buying their home, it is agreed in society. Your mother thinks it's a good idea. Your spouse, everybody thinks a good idea. We are not going to sit here and say it's not a good idea. We're going to agree it's a good idea. So that's exactly what I said to him, because that was his question. He said, is it a good idea? And I said, there's too much agreement. It's a good idea. We're going to leave it there. But then he asked, I love when people show up, and there's 44 people here, and you have showed up. And tonight, baby, we're going home. Financial freedom for you is freaking real, and I promise you now. Because he asked the following question, and that's what gets us here tonight. This is what gets us excited to be JDL Strategies. He said, is there a better idea? I said, yes, sir. But of course, he had where's your wife? Where's the girl you're talking about? He had, a ring in his hand, and I said, where's your girl? He goes, she's buying the curtains. He said, I said, brother, if I spend 15 minutes with you, 3 minutes with you, explaining it all to you, when you get home and try to explain to her, it's going to be the most unfair thing, because you will have some ideas. And then when you try to explain, she wasn't here. She doesn't have any context for this.
Especially when it's a spouse. Nobody hears the spouse.
No. Not only that. It's like people are truly hypnotized.
Yeah.
This is a come true ideation. I'm going to own my house. So I said to him, look, man, I'm staying at this hotel. Come tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm going to be upstairs. I'm going to be working. I'll come down at 10 a.m. If you are there, I'll explain to you. You earn her. Okay? I'll do that. But if I come down and you're not there, that's okay. I'll keep working. You know what happened? I came down the next day, and they were both there. Now, I don't know, right, what happened, because he probably said to her, honey, we're not moving into the house. And she's like, What? Right? I want you to know that in the morning at 10 a.m., they were both there. And I said to both of them, good morning. He says, good morning. She says, It's how she replied to good morning. She said, So I said, back, just in case, right? She was German or something. Ladies and gentlemen, what I said to the lady that day was, you're living your best life the way you know it. You cannot choose what you do not know. Thank you so much for coming. All I'm going to do is show you an equation. All I'm going to do is show you numbers. And then you choose which way you want to go. So I said to both of them, tell me your story. In everybody's stories, there are the numbers. The reason why the software exists is to hunt down the inefficiencies in your numbers. We can't really care how you feel. We care somewhat how you feel. But what we care the most is in the inefficiencies that you're carrying in your life without knowing. So please understand, I'm meeting this lady for the very first time. Her husband had the chance to be there and be presented all the slides as to why debt has to go. So I said, tell me this story, and they started telling me the story on Nice Street. Basically, what happened was I was meeting with Paul and Susan in the hotel. Paul is a brother to John. John and Mary never came to my event. Susan never came to my event. The only person that showed up was Paul. Next morning, I'm sitting with Paul and Susan, and they start telling me this story that they went to visit their brother and sister in-law in nice street, and they bought a house for $800,000. Okay, there it is, nice street. So Paul and Susan, on the way home, they start talking about their own numbers, and they start thinking, would it be nice if we bought a house as well in nice street? Yeah, it would be very nice. So then what happened was, I want to now, as you said, this is a case study. We're going to compare both couples. The one who stayed with the dream of buying their own home, and the other couple now that start considering something else. Let's do this together. Because the moment they told me the stories and I see $800,000 worth of mortgage, you now know we will multiply that times 3. So we know now that John has to earn $3.4 million, pay over $800,000 in tax, pay $800,000, pay a ton in interest to pay the. You know now, I know now, you know that now. You do the numbers. So we looked at it and we said, all right, if you live in our street, if you are John and Mary, and you bought that house, like everybody else does, yeah. So we're going to put into an equation. The L is equal mortgage repayments. The O is the other things they're liable for. The council rates, the insurances, the maintenance, and etc. So give or take, the L plus O is $1,200 per week. All right? Of course, you pay insurances not every week. There's a few things you pay. But if you add up all the expenses for the year, divided by 52, around $1,200 per week. Of course, interest rates will have an impact on that. It's just I want you to understand the concept. Got it? Now, when you buy a house, and this is the point, you pay for it alone, right? All by yourself. So you are responsible for 100% of the pie chart. When I was explaining this, please understand that Susan had arrived. What her husband did to her was, baby, we're not moving into the house. We're not buying a house. Why? I don't know. I don't know yet. We need to go and meet with Julia. She doesn't like me. You know that. I know that. But numbers have no feelings.
She just bought the curtains.
You know what I mean?
She just bought the curtains.
And so when I'm explaining to her the difference between, green debt, bad debt, after tax, before tax, she says to me, hold on, I know this. Isn't that the deal? Isn't that what everybody is doing? Such a great statement. And I'm so glad you are here tonight, because what everybody else is doing doesn't mean it's the best thing to do. Remember his question? Is this the best thing I can do in my life? Is there a better idea? So now I want to introduce to you what's called a paradigm shift. It's another way to reinterpret the data, reinterpret the universe. So I want to introduce you an amazing guy. His name is Tom. Tom is the tenant. So this is what I was trying to explain to Susan. I said, Susan, let's just do the numbers. I want you to imagine that you're going to actually rent your house out. So how much rent could you get on nice street for your $800,000 property? $720 a week. Okay. So basically now, I want you to imagine you're going to rent your house to Tom, and Tom is going to pay $720. The moment that you have a tenant move into your house, that property now is a property investment. A completely different set of rules, completely different ball game here. And what happens now is this: your mortgage repayments, your council rates, insurance, and maintenance, all of it tax deductible. Your first partner just kicked in. Now, all your L&O are tax deductible, right? So now is the new pie chart. The tenant's going to give you rent. He's going to pay 50% of the bills. The tax man is going to pay 30% of the bill. The you bet 20%. So meaning, let's do the numbers.
1,200 was the full expenses minus the rent.
These guys own this property, yeah? They own it.
Exactly.
So to own that property, to just owe it, they own it, it's going to cost them $70 a week. I hope I haven't lost anyone. Because you see, if it was $1,200 a week to own that house and live in it, that's what John and Mary are paying. For Paul and Susan, yes, they're going to get $720 a week in rent from Tom. They're going to get $390 from the government. Well, their Payment is $70 a week. So they're going to owe that house for $70 a week. Keep going. So now, Susan just kicks in and says, hold on a second. There's a guy in my house. You put a guy in my house. I said, yeah, relax. She goes, man, where are you going to live? Well, since you got here, you've been telling me how amazing Nice Street is. I want you to live in Nice Street. But Julia, there's a guy in my house. Hold on a second, just hold. What if you were to cross the road and rent a house yourself in Nice Street? Now, guys, we're not talking emotions here, okay? We understand that we're just doing numbers. So what if they were to move across the road? Yep, literally move across the road. A house identical, the same size. Well, they should pay $720 too. Got it. Makes sense, yeah? So if you have a look at this now, let's do everybody's number now. Tom lives in Nice Street. He has access to the same park, same swimming pool, same library, same pub. But that's where people say rent is dead money because he doesn't own the assets. Do you remember the blue arrow we had before? Tom does not hold that asset. Let's talk about John and Mary now. John and Mary, they live in Nice Street, but they bought the house. So this house that they own as their own home will increase in value. Just a matter of time. So they're holding one house as the asset, but it cost them $1,200. Yes. Now let's have a look at Paul and Susan, right? So you know, that Paul and Susan own this house because they rented to Tom, cost them $70 a week after they collect the rent and the ATO's contribution. Now they're going to rent a house because they need a place to live. So they're going to pay $720 a week in rent. Well, the total contribution to their lives to live and own in Nice Street. See, the distinction here is this. John and Mary live in the house that they bought. They live in the house where Paul and Susan, they still live in Nice Street. They rent in Nice Street and they own in Nice Street, two separate houses. That is the distinction. And mathematically, it changes everything. Let's keep looking at it. These guys, they live and own in Nice Street for $790. There's $410 a week in difference, right?
Now the big question is...
The big question. You asked the question.
What should I do? What should I do with $400 per week extra?
So you understand now that if you to compare John and Mary, Paul and Susan, they both own in Nice Street. Yeah? But Paul and Susan, they have literally $410 a week better off in cash flow. What if they were to put that $410 a week extra into their mortgage? You got it. Straight into principal. Never do what the bank tells you to do. Straight to the principal. Now let's just look both of them. You see, John and Mary think that they did a good thing, and so they did. They bought this house for $800,000. 10 years later, it's worth $1.6 million. It's definitely a good thing. Everybody agrees it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But because they did exactly what the bank told them to do, and you met them again 10 years later, the debt on their home would be $624,000. However, Paul and Susan, their house also went from $800,000 to $1.6 million. But I'm telling you something magical now. It's called compounding interest. If they were to put that $410 a week, every week into their mortgage, their debt would be $305,000. Are you clear on what I'm saying? So the equity already for Paul and Susan will be much higher because the debt is going down. So it's a 320 grand, let's call it, better off for just moving across the road. This is real cash. This is real wealth. How do you get rich? Is the assets you are carrying. That's how you get rich. So it's a much better idea. I know things are fluffing for you. I know you want to come in. Let me just close Let me just close the chain reaction here. You understand that the moment in which they got Tom, it becomes very possible to get Dick and Harry. Tom, Dick, and Harry. So as a client of JDL, 2 years later, they bought another house. And then it took them another 3 years to buy another house because it's chain reacting. They are getting all this debt. They are getting all the houses paid by somebody else. And they're compounding the savings. If you were to look at Paul and Susan in the same 10 years, they had 5 properties paid by Tom, Dick, Harry, Bob, and Adam. The total portfolio, 4.5 million. That's how we have created over 2,400 multimillionaires. It's by understanding that people make the decisions within what they know. But if you can expand for them what they know, and this is why we say to you, invite your accountant, invite your financial planner, invite your mother-in-law. Because the last thing we want to do is hype. Numbers are numbers. So when you look at this now, which one would you rather be? Just look at it. It's the same, they are brothers and sisters, same social gatherings, same intelligence, same schooling. And one has an investment strategy and the other one doesn't. It's that powerful, right?
It's all about emotion.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
It's all about the ego, and we understand.
Yeah,
Because we all like to feel good.
We live this every day. We live every day. So our commitment is to education. Why should I, when should I stop renting? Susan asked us. When? Well, the truth is, guys, if you want to go to the ultimate conversation here, is this. You should be in a position in your life, you should never have personal debt, ever. I understand a lot of people disagree with me, and the disagreement is emotional. Mm-hmm. You can't beat the numbers. If you want to feel safe and live in my own home because that's what I want to do, that is fine. We will help you to reduce the debt on your own home. We'll actually do that a lot. But if you were to come up, as Paul did, and said, what is the better idea? We were then able to share with Susan to say, Susan, you should rent for the rest of your life. Well, am I ever going to own my own home? Yes, you will. Yes, you will. What if, a few years later, we're to set up a trust? Yes. Then we borrow against all your property investments? We pull equity out of all your property investments. Don't sell them. We borrow against them? Yes. Put the equity into the trust? The trust goes and buys a property investment? Yes. Is there a law that forbids you to rent from that trust? No. But this is a bit more advanced. This is for our future courses, okay? But I think you follow what I say. There's nothing stopping these guys to borrow against the equity they accumulate against their property investments, put into a trust. The trust buys their dream home. Get clear on this. They do not own that house. The trust does. They control the trust. They don't own the house. The trust owns the house. So the trust can rent that property to whoever it wants, okay? And here's that piece. So guys, once again, we're gonna go somewhere else now. Is this been a good conversation? Can we get some feedback now?
If you like Nice Street, just put Nice Street. Did you like the case of Nice Street? Just comment down below Nice Street because you like the comparison of buying on Nice Street.
We have a lot of people push back. We have a lot of people, look, people come and they say all sorts of things. I would say to you, if your mortgage is around the $300,000 or less, it may be that you stay as you are. If your mortgage is very high, do your review.
I like Nicolita's exclamation. Wowie!
Yeah.
Woo!
That's
how we feel. And it's funny because in the beginning, we deal with a lot of clients and we know how difficult it is, especially in the beginning when you are about to jump from that cliff, because that's how it feels a lot of the time. It's like going to jump off this cliff to buy this investment property because then in your mindset is, I need to spend this amount of money. And that's how it's framed in that because it's not, that people do not see that it's an investment. And all the money you put in towards that investment is actually coming back to you. But you just see that after 5 years, maybe 2 years, 3 years.
The day before yesterday, I was in a room in another meeting here. Diogo knocks on the door, opens up the door. There's this couple, young couple, 2 lovely little daughters, right? And we were just hanging out with them for a moment. And I said to them, I said, what happens now that you are embarking on this journey of becoming an investor? I think one daughter could have been 4 and the other one 2, somewhere in that line. I said, those 2 girls are gonna grow up in a household where mom and dad were investors. And it doesn't matter if you talk a lot about it or a little about it, they will be in the know. When they become adults, they grew up on a household when mom and dad had assets working for them. It may sound very simplistic or subtle right now, but I promise you will make all the difference in the world. Which leads us to this. Who set you on this path, addicted to income without a promise of a better future? Who did that? Well, the truth is, without financial understanding, the truth is you did it to yourself. But tonight, this spell ends. That's why you're here. That's why you came. That's why you came. It's funny because we have 44 people here tonight. We had, 110 booked. What happened with the other 60 people? The hypnosis took them. What? You heard me. The hypnosis took them. They're not here, but you are. So I want you to take a case. I want you to take a photo of this now. If you can take a screenshot or a photo of this, this is the ultimate game. Asset accumulation, all this. I wish you to print this and put in your bathroom as you get ready in the morning. You have a quick look at this picture every day, right? It's called the chain reaction. Houses that buy houses and houses that buy everything else. Every single property minimizes your tax. As the tax comes back to you, you drive the debt down. The less debt you have, the more you invest. The more you invest, the less tax you pay. Once those houses start to become cash flow positive, they start buying other investments. So if your first property investment is putting $100 a week into your pocket because it's cash flow positive, $100, nothing stops you to put $100 into managed funds, shares, crypto, houses that buy houses, houses that buy everything else. Now, I want to show you something. We're going to jump into something. We're doing good in time. I'm going to try to recover some time now. Guys, I told you, some of you wrote said, yes, accountants. Diogo and I now, it's with great honor, we want to show you the software we share with accountants across Australia, the software we share with our clients. What is going to happen right now, you will be able to see how we can deliver, seriously, 6 hours worth of consulting in 6 minutes. Everybody's talking heaps about AI and they're afraid about AI. Well, we call it machine learning. What if right now you could find a place where a machine thinking, behaving like a broker, an accountant, a financial planner, your mother-in-law, it puts it all together for you.
She's always in the mix. She's always in the mix.
This is what we're going to show you right now. All right, guys, I want to show you how there's no longer mystery. There's no longer not known. JDL Strategies has been around for 30 years. What we wanted to do is to create a deep training platform where people could understand wealth. And then we want to create for them a place they could come and dream their lives. Just that JDL stands for Just Do Life Strategies. Watch this. This is where one can come and put the numbers in and have a look. So let's just do this. John was born in 1976. He's on $178,000 a year. He's married to Anna. She's on $98,000 a year. Okay? So it's asked you about age and starts to do already doing all sorts of mathematics behind the scene. They have 2 kids, a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. They're just living their lives as they know. So how much money have you got saved right now? They have 150. So what actually happens, as I told you before, everybody that has a story, when you come to meet with Brett, with Diogo, with Michael, with Scott, with Kylie, we know there's a story. What we want to know is the numbers in the story, and what we want you to get to is how inefficient or efficient those numbers really are, really fast. If you were to go and sit with an accountant, a financial planner, a finance broker, and say, hey guys, I want to tell you all my story, and I want you guys to come together and design the best plan for me to get rich, how much would that meeting cost? This is what we have designed. It is so spectacular. The company Amazon recognized our software as the best in Australia, recognized twice now. And accountants now will start to use it to give to their clients in order to sit over the weekend and plan their lives. So let's have this out. So they have saved $150,000. They have $236,000 in super, $160,000 in shares. So you can start to see that if the people have 160 grand in shares, the conversation about wealth is already happening for them. Now, we don't care if they have less income. The software doesn't know you. What the software will do is take on your numbers and check this out. They want to retire in 18 years. They can save $600 a week now. Diogo had a lady that came in. She was 32 years of age. She had $100,000 saved. So we know she's been saving that money. Her income is not that great. And the truth is, she played with the software and immediately we could just say, hey, watch mapping out the strategy for your life. The software doesn't care where you are at your numbers. Your numbers have no feelings. We just want to find what's best. Keep going down. See how now these guys have a mortgage of $345,000? What do you think the team here wants to do? We want to go after that $345,000 debt. We want to get rid of it, right? And here comes the distinction between personal debt and investment debt. Most people are traumatized by the personal debt, so much so that they don't want to borrow for a proper investment because they only remember red debt. They haven't conceptualized yet that the other debt, other people paying for it. Now, imagine if you could press a button, one tiny button.
They live on nice street. We need to remember they live in their own property.
That's right.
And
these people live in their own home.
We don't push anyone, but sometimes we show this, and we have cases where people actually moved out.
Yeah.
And this is fine. Like if you have that chance to move out and put those 350 grand into green debt, it becomes like this straight away. So
Without,
you can do it anytime.
Exactly. Without taking too much time, I want you to see these buttons here. The software now has created 3 scenarios. The first button is, what if you do nothing? You just keep living the life as you know it. What if you never showed up here and the next 10 years you lived exactly the way you lived? The software will map that. What if you do nothing? What if you just be you? Then the software is going to look at it and say, what's possible for you actually? And what if I had an AI, an intelligence that would tell you every move? And this little link here up, you can share with your accountant, you can share with your planner, share with your bank. The numbers are to be analyzed. So check this out. These guys, if they were to do, this is the as is button, right? Everything being equal, these guys will accumulate $2.4 million in the next 18 years. Okay. But there's this thing called inflation, right? Because $2.4 million in 18 years is not the same as tonight. So let's have a look at this like this. You are telling me that you would like to retire on 150 grand a year. So if your house is paid for and your kids off your hands, you'd like to retire on 150 grand. Yeah, okay. In 18 years, to buy $150,000 of goods and services that you buy tonight for 150, you're going to need 316,000. Why? Because of inflation. So if you were to pull $316,000 from your nest egg, you run out of money in 7 years. We don't have to wait for 18 years for you to know this. It's here now. You can know now. You know now.
As we say, there's no more not knowing.
There's no more, no. You know it now. Let that sink in, right? Because we're taking care of inflation, taking care of where this is going.
Actually, I would even say you don't know it now yet, but we'll have also a link that will show you exactly
that's
for
exactly
you.
Right. That's exactly
so
right.
you know the case study now, but we'll invite you to do yourself this example.
Exactly. So what happens now in this conversation is this. People come to 15 years out and they go, oh man. So then you would reduce the amount of time. Oh, what if we don't retire in 18? What if we need more time? We need to work to 25 years more. I'll reduce the money. We won't retire on 150. We'll retire on 100. And that's the majority of people you know. What if I press this one button now and the software just went and calculated already? I told you a moment ago that the software has already a mind of a broker, a mind of an accountant. what the software is saying to these guys is you could buy not one, but 2 property investments right now. It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy 2. It's telling you you could do it. The question that begs the question is, why haven't you? Because I'm busy. That's why. That's the real reason why.
Well, because I don't know.
I don't know. So what happens here, though, is this. You notice that the panel here inside of the software is open. You can come in and say, I believe property is going to perform at this. Inflation is that. The beautiful part about it is this. You really gain control of your future. What happens, though, is when people start to see these things, they go, how do you know that? What if I was to press a button here and say to you, actually, I want to go into quick analysis first. I want to show you this. Here is the pie chart, specifically for you, if this was you. See, here we have how much the tenant would pay. So in this case here, the tenant would pay 60.67, 60% of the bills. The taxman is going to pay 35 cents on the dollar, 35% of the bills. These guys would pay 3.82% of the bills, but they get to own the whole house. They own 100% of the house. Now, people ask us all the time, what if they took negative gearing away? What if they did that? Well, we're not going to wait for you to ask us. That is already the answer. You see here how you see the red on this side? The red is the money from the government. You take the government out, everything is blue, which is you. So if negative gearing was gone, you would have to pay $381 a week. Can't afford it? Don't do it. Can afford it? Do it. The truth is, as we said to you in the beginning of the presentation, the government won't take negative gearing away anywhere soon because we don't have enough houses. Every single property investment that you invest in, everybody wins. And the political argument for that is just so much crazy politics. If you follow us, you know Diogo and I, we went one night before the treasurer said anything, and we said, negative gearing from new house is not going to go anywhere. You can find on YouTube, both of us talking about that. But we're not going to wait for you to ask. Here's the question. The truth is, if you said to me now, oh, Julio, this is great. Diogo, I love it. Can I go talk to my accountant? Yeah. You could also press the button. What button? The button I just pressed. Everything is done. No. Yeah. Check this out. This is his income, her income. This is the calculations your accountant would do. This plus now the rental income. Here's the deductions. You calculate the deductions? Absolutely. Here's the taxable income now. Your present tax, because of this property investment, this is your new tax. So for him, he would save $9,300 in tax. She would save $8,560 in tax specifically. That first property cost them $37. If they were to do both properties, they would save, get this, shy of 40 grand a year. Let's just call it $35,000 a year back. If they were to get this money back from the government and put towards their mortgage, that's 350 grand off their mortgage because they're being strategic. I don't know if you have ever been to an event where you can access so much information. So when we say to you, we have been doing JDL for 30 years, 2,400 multimillionaires, first and foremost, we're committed to your education. Then we're committed to your knowing. So this piece here about this software is this. I just want to take you to another insight now. And let's have a look at this here. Check this out. Remember, houses that buy houses, houses that buy everything else. What if we already know these people can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties before they retire, and they could have 5.6. It's more than double the as is. The software is already calculating. And another thing I want you to know is the software is imagining the property is performing at 5%. If in 1 year those properties perform at 7%, their wealth will be much greater. And the beauty about this software, it's fully integrated with data. Every night it goes out and get the values, pulls out a call logic, all the value of the properties, and just keep building your portfolio.
Before we go even into the next phase, which is about you, we love this number over here. And I usually in the presentations, I love to talk about it because this is the not knowing that a lot of people do not realize. Because when a lot of people say, but I don't have $4,000 or $3,000 to waste or to burn, that's the compounding between all of the years that you still have to work, in this case, 18 years, compounded with the tax that you're not getting back, the properties that you're not buying. And that's the missing opportunity costs that you don't see, nobody sees. And that's the beauty of this software. So if you are intrigued by any chance, and you'd like to know about your case in specific, how much you're burning, usually what I do is put a number in your mind about how much do you think you are burning per week.
Yeah.
And then you make you go through the software. We'll make it available for you very, very soon. And then see if it's what you expected or not. So if you'd like to play the game, just
Matthew is just showing me now, somebody else is coming through the Instagram. What does that mean? I'll tell you right now what it means is, Matthew, is that the same person? Okay, let me just answer that. $3,239,000 is your opportunity cost. Let me show you, I'll show you plainly. Here's the results. What Diogo is saying is so crucial. Your opportunity cost is real. Let's have a look at this. If you don't have a strategy, you are the red. If you only bought a couple of properties like majority of people do, if you chain react, here's the results 18 years later. If this couple just lived the lives as they know, they'll be worth 2.4 million, which is the majority of Australians. Yeah? If they only bought the 2 properties, they'll be worth 4.4. But if they were to do all the properties designed here, they walk away with $5.6 million, $5.7 million for less than $200 a week. I don't know. Too good to be true. It's just mathematics. Because the software is designed to empower people, and that's why we share with accountants as part of our educational process across Australia. Okay? So in terms of the software, just giving you a notion of how powerful this night really is, and for the sake of time, let us just go back to the PowerPoint presentation. I'm gonna close this for now, okay? And I'm back on the PowerPoint. Can you see the PowerPoint presentation? We're good. All right, guys, let us cover this. I want you to have a chance to have a look at what your numbers are all about. Because you're here until now and you stay to the end, this is called going to source. What is going to happen right now is the team is going to put this link right here, right now in the chat box. Can you do that for me? My view is the chat box right now.
You can go through your phone as well.
Yeah, and we are going to do it together, okay? So, as a matter of fact, what I want to do... No, I don't want to do that because the software is going to recognize is me. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to shut me out because I want to go, I'll show you what I mean. Mm-hmm. Guys, come in with me now.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? All I want you to do is copy me. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah? What I want you to do right now is to open a browser right now. Check this out. Okay?
Go guest mode.
Right? And I'm going to go here and make myself, because I don't want my software to know I am me. So I'm going to go incognito. You don't need to do this step. The intelligence in the software is very good. It would know it's me. So I'm going to pretend to be coming outside of my own environment. Here we go. So the future of property, right? So here we go. I'm going to go and do this with you. We'll do it together. All right, guys. So Julio De Laffitte, here we go. My email address is julio@jdl.com.zx. My phone number is 0403-6089. We go in now. So I'm in. I'm going to accept also, okay? Now we're going to do this together, okay? Guys, the software has intelligence to teach you what to do, how to go, but check this out. What we're going to do here very quickly is just kind of put in some basic numbers.
There's a good question, which is about the salaries being optimistic in the software. And now we're talking about 75K approximately.
Oh, no. Let's do it together.
Exactly. So that's what I was inviting. So Leah, please join in and put your numbers. Put your real numbers through. Join in and put your numbers. Shoot your numbers. And there's no fluff about it.
Guys, the reason why the numbers you saw before in the software, because it's a client we saw today. Simple as that. We just changed the names. Okay? Now, this is about you, not about me. And some people are just starting out in life, so let's make some numbers here together, okay?
And the beauty of it, you actually can map it out through the chain reaction, and you can understand how far are you from it. So just the numbers are the numbers. So if you are too far or not happy with your situation, you can still improve it. The main point is that you are setting yourself up to make this happen. That's the most important. So if you're not there yet, you just need to keep going and understanding that by saving more, by putting more energy into your business, into earning more, you'll have the rights to one day buy property. But the means to do that, it's that you need to have a strategy and your mindset in the right place to do it when time comes.
For gross income now, the conversation here for gross income is combined. If you're in a partnership, so it's the gross income of the family, right? So both partners' income. So for argument's sake, if you're on 75 and your partner on 75 as well, I'm gonna say 150,000 for the family income. Are you putting extra in super? No, I'm not. Okay. I'm gonna ask you here, are you an Australian citizen, permanent resident? What's your story? Just let's go here. Okay. Now, marital status, right? Married.
You put the together so the
Hey,
150.
there's a conversation here though that is happening. Is it's opened the full.
You can go up here and up.
Yeah, it opened the full. It opened the full software, right?
Yeah, up here. Up,
where?
Up. It's usually that was.
Yeah.
It opened the full.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is, I mean, for those at home, more than obviously you can fill out.
Guys, the conversation here is this. We're very clear that when we start putting in the numbers, some people go, "Oh, I'll do it later. I'll do this." But I honestly wanna do this in a way that, let me just stop talking and just get it done. Okay, Anna De Laffitte. There is actually no Anna De Laffitte, but here we go.
Yeah, while we are filling out, I'd love to address a few things. Also, we will have a Q&A very soon. So if you have any questions in mind, please start to write them down. Pedro will manage them, and we'll have the team as well here, and we'll have a few questions that we'll have at the end of the event just to reply to you guys. And yeah, definitely we are very happy to have you all. We still have a full house here, which is amazing. But fill out the details with as Julie is doing as well. So please follow the instructions. Fill out with your details while we are doing all of this together. So definitely we are putting 75 grand each. Yeah. We're talking about having kids. Yeah,
guys, my bad. There is another version which is really quick for the presentation itself. Because it's in my laptop, it recognized it was me and gave me the full access because I own the joint. So, okay. Anyway, the ones, Matthew, can you open it up and see if people are getting the full version too on that? So just let me know. How much have you got saved now? I'll say $30,000. I'm just making this up, guys. Totaling super 145 I hope we didn't blow the presentation by going to so much details here tonight. What actually happens is there is a very small version. I feel almost like just to getting you in. Anyway, it is what it is. We are doing this. Okay. As you can see, I am following the numbers here. How many years before I want to retire? Well, I would like to retire in 15 years. I would like to retire with 120 grand. Right now, do you own a home? Yes, I own a home. And I'll say that the value of my house is 1.3 million. You know what? Let's make it less. Let's make it 900,000. Yeah. And let's say that my mortgage is 300,000. Yeah. Let's say 250,000. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And I don't have any property investments. So what have I done? I made up a guy called Julio, married to a girl called Anna. I want you to put in your real numbers here. Then we'll put his income of 75, her income of 75. Okay. Kept filling up the data. Okay. Yeah, her email would be anna@anna.com. Her phone number 0435. Okay. She's in finance. Yep. All done. Let's go. Press go.
Are you doing, hopefully everyone at home should be doing this as well with us. If you're doing so, please give us a thumbs up. Maybe it's hard to do everything at the same time. But yeah, we'd love to comment wealth goal if you're in it. Just comment wealth goal, and we just know that you're in it.
Yeah, guys, look, I gotta take responsibility here because we have a very one-liner, only a few questions, right? My team's saying, don't do that, don't do this, just keep going. But guys, the beauty about it, it's all done. As is, possible now, chain reaction. If these was my numbers, I would have accumulated $600,000. I want you to notice now how much you get in your feed, what to do to retire on 700 grand. It's kind of real. So if I was to sit now with possible now, okay, it does not buy a property investment at this point. I go into chain reaction, right? It buys one property investment
in 2 years' time.
In 2 years' time.
2, 3, yeah.
Okay, in 2-3 years' time. Now, please understand a few things here. Please understand a few things. If I was to do my comparison, this is the point of JDL Strategies. I don't care where you are. I don't care what your numbers are tonight. We are committed to your education. Here's the difference between having a strategy and not having one. Here's the difference. So when somebody says the numbers were a bit unrealistic or whatever, I don't want fake numbers. I want your real numbers. What's going to happen now in terms of tonight's presentation is this. I'm going to close this off. I'm going to go back into my PowerPoint now. And I want to say this to you from current slide. Let's just go back in. Mm-hmm. All right. Guys, how many people have we got in the presentation now? 35 people. Okay, got it. Guys, this is the name of the game. Houses that buy houses, houses that buy everything else. Okay? When we sit with the right part of the slide here now, everybody knows a good broker. We couldn't care less about good brokers. We're interested in excellent brokers. Again, I would like you to take a screenshot of this, a photo of this, especially of the right side. What I want to say to you is you show this to your bank manager, to your broker, and you say, I want one of those. Today, we met 2 couples that did not have a debt reduction strategy. That's not on. About us, we have access to over 90 banks. I want you out of debt. If you what you learned from me today, if you want, all you want is a debt reduction strategy, go into the software, or by just registering into the software tonight, we will know to call you. We will know to be in touch. Even if you to just go in there and put your name, put your number, and get in, we will be in touch. And this is what we'll set out to do. Bring you up. That's the purpose of the business. So if you pay rent, you own your own home, all we want to do is a better displacement for you. So now let me give you the core of the business. First and foremost, as I said before, is education. Cornerstone. Once you're educated, and I hope tonight was a good night, then we'll take you into the software. The software is designed for you to know your numbers, really know them like never before. And then we're going to help you to invest in property. And then we're going to get those properties to buy everything else. But in order to buy the properties, as you could see in the example here, you need to access finance. Every finance you do will be with a debt reduction strategy. That is our promise to you. Now, people think sometimes that we sell property. We do not sell property. If you imagine that JDL Strategies sell properties to clients, do not become our client. Don't come. I mean it this way. We, at any given time, we're buying 20 or 30 properties for our clients. There are clients right now that are buying their 6th property with us. Diogo servicing clients are buying they already been clients for a while, and they are buying number 8, number 9, number 2, number 3, number 1. So please understand, we don't sell them, we buy them. And we represent you, the client. The richer you become, the richer you become. Let that sink in. Every single property we buy has to pass a 44-point checklist. Every property we source for you passes the most rigorous research. That's the conversation. So what we do is we do not sell properties, we buy them, okay? So the results speak for themselves. JDL is like a gathering of people in a family. We throw dinners, we throw parties, and here are the results for some of our clients. Here's Hamita and Rita. They have now...
Amita is the couple.
Yeah.
Hamid and Rita is Amita.
Yes. They have 3 properties with us now. And what actually happens, and what I'm bringing to your attention, is that those 3 properties cost them $86 per week, okay? And it saves them $32,000 a year in tax. That $32,000 a year in tax put back into their finances will reduce their mortgage. They will pay their mortgage in 12 years sooner in their own home. Now, when you start to analyze then the different clients coming through, right? This client here has 2 properties with us, right? Again, will save $21,000 in tax. That tax will be used to pay the mortgage down. There's quite a few messages coming through now. So when you start looking at Blake Strategies, guys, this is client after client after client. We design chain reactions for people, okay? So for the bigger question of the presentation tonight is this. We are hanging out the presentation between the 2 of us, going back and forth, and as your guest speaker tonight, Diogo, I want to say to you this, guys. The news is full of bad news. What we want to bring to your perception today is this. Australia is not producing enough babies. We don't have enough babies, so we have to import people. I don't have a dog in this fight. The government from the left, the government from the right, the government from the middle. The truth is, we're going to 80 million people. We are going to 80 million. Before we go to 80 million, we got to hit 40, and then 50, and then 60. And when we achieve 18 million people live in the island, and you take a photo from above, it's still going to look empty. That's the truth. All the news cycles are like 8 weeks cycle. What we want to say to you is this: do your numbers, know your numbers. If you can't afford to do it, don't do it. If you can afford to do it, not doing it is a disservice. And that's why we created As Is against what's possible now.
Mhm.
So, guys, would love to hear some questions. Do you have some questions from us?
Yeah, so
My
Leah
wife-
is asking, definitely. So she bought a few properties with us,
Uh-huh.
and now the trouble is with the new budget, they nearly to retirement age, so it means exit plan in place.
Call us tomorrow.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those cases that we couldn't judge from just here without the numbers.
No, so
when-
Leah is a client of ours.
a client of ours
Oh,
bought a few
beautiful.
properties.
Hello, Leah. How are you doing? So good to have you here. Hey, let's book an appointment right
Yeah.
now. Pedro will call you, and not right now. We'll call you tomorrow, and book an appointment. So we do a review, full review. If you're
Yeah.
coming into a moment where what to do next, we'll have that conversation.
Definitely, with the new laws and everything that is going ahead, we need to assess every case by case.
And by the way, if you already have properties being grandfathered, what's happening? Oh, you have to go. You have
I
an
have to
appointment.
go an appointment. I have a client actually at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have another 5 minutes. Let's go through a few of those questions. But yeah, we'll be in touch, Lee.
Any more questions there? Is there another one coming through now? Can we see it? Can you bring it down? Thank you. What does it say?
JDL Strategies educated us for 25 years ago and gave us the confidence to purchase our first investment property. Now we have a young son who is ready to build wealth through assets. We need more education to head toward retirement given the budget changes.
Oh, this is so good. Thank you guys for returning.
25 years, right?
That's right. This is what we're saying before. You see, my son, my daughter, it's ready to go. That's where the conversation about accumulating capital is not a forbidden thing. It's a thing we do as a family. By all means, Pedro will call you to as well. Book an appointment. Let's just review. Bring your son in. We will send a training or other videos we have, other training we have.
That's
to your
something
child.
very common
Yeah.
to actually bring the family together and have those discussions
Very much so.
together because
Very
it's
much
all
so.
about generation wealth. And sometimes the exit plan is not about selling everything, but it's a mix of whatever you sell or whatever you keep or pass it into your kids. It's about heritage and legacy. So yeah, definitely stay in touch because we can't judge it from this call. But
What's the other plan?
PNS loans. PNS loan. Is it PNS? Yes. PNS loan debt gone down to 305. If they want to sell, can they get tax benefit?
Don't know. Do we see what happens here? There's not enough context for us. So the answer is depends. We need to go into the details. We need you to do your financial wealth check, have the software prepare all the data, all the analytics for us. So when we come together, the meeting has a lot more meaning. And this is the beauty about this software, the beauty of it. Hey, great idea. Let me just pull it back here. And somebody's asking for the code again. Yeah, let me just put it back here. Thank you so much for that. Here's the code. You want into the software, this is the code. Just take a photo of it right now, go into the software, okay? The software is designed for you to work with your accountant. It's designed for you to know your numbers. And then from there, you book an appointment with us. If we can help, we will. If we can't help, we'll put you in the right direction, okay? One more question, and then Diogo has to go.
No, this is the salaries. Yeah, we've done already the salaries with the lower, so it fully in this case.
Marvio, any other questions on the other social medias?
No.
No?
All good. I already have. Perfect. So we'll be in chat. This was great.
That was great. Great night.
Thank you.
Hey guys, can I please ask you to follow us on Instagram, JDL Strategies on Instagram, Julio De Laffitte, and Diogo the Awesome One. Is that?
Both of us, exactly. Diogo the Awesome. Both of us actually, we have collaboration in the post, so it will be easy to find us.
Yeah.
More than happy, as we said, there's no hard pushing about anything. This is all about education, empowering you to have the tools to become prosper and thrive through this life that is amazing. We live in an amazing country. There shouldn't be this kind of fear and news about this because
guys,
we are very fortunate.
Let's finish with that note. Let's finish with that note. When everybody's going left, go right. When everybody's going right, go left. If there's a lot of uncertainty, the code for JDL is certainty. You can't do life well if you don't have certainty. If you're to meet me in the street and ask me, what is it that we sell? If we were to sell something, we sell two things, strategy and certainty. Can't afford it, we're not doing it. Can afford it, we're going to do it. Certainty is the name of the game. If you want certainty, come home.
Thank you very much. And Julio, it was a pleasure to have you tonight here. And for all of you home, I hope you follow us, go through the software, explore your numbers. No more not knowing. That's it.
No more not knowing.
We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.